It's roughly around that time of day where I start to get really, really hungry. Do you know when my last meal was, Mr. One Meal a Day?
So I'm guessing a couple hours ago, what, three?
Oh, man, I'm fucking starving. In three, two, one. It's the Shant and Ari podcast, you guys. Episode number 75. Shant, you want to get this intro looked at maybe in the next week or two? We can figure out maybe by like the 100th episode some sort of.
Yeah, by episode 100, we should probably get something down,
It's
like
insane. We're
music.
almost at 100.
Because when people like ask, like my friends are like, "Oh, like you still doing the podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "Oh, what episode you on?" I'm like, 70. They're like, "Fuck, 70." And I'm like, "Yeah, but we still don't have anything like music, intro, like a name. Should have a name, like a legit name for the podcast."
You know what it is? I'm just in no humongous hurry. I know that we're slated for sponsorship soon, and we really got to fine tune a few things, yeah, but we're good. We're headed in the right direction. We'll have a thumbnail image soon, and just we'll be good. Anyway, so really, really interesting shot. I was having my last meal at 3 o'clock. I usually eat the same thing every single day for the last 3 months now because apparently salad is the only thing I can eat anymore. So that's the only thing that came to mind. I guess when you're doing what I don't know how the fuck you do it, but when you're doing this whole dieting thing, the only thing you can really think about is food.
Yeah.
Is that also a problem of yours, or are you normal?
Um, no, I don't really think about food, man. I mean, I do since it's one meal a day, and then I kind of snack afterwards. So I'm not trying to like front here like I'm a purist like my brother.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Javi.
but I do like try to make that one meal like good and um, like today was salmon, asparagus, some avocado, some other things. Like you try to like really make it a nice fucking meal. So I just really think about like, wow, how am I gonna make this meal intense?
Yeah. How am I gonna eat like it's the last time I'm ever gonna eat again? I don't understand this shit. Anyway, so you don't actually snack after your one meal, is what you're saying.
No, I do. I do.
For how long? How?
I
What's your
do.
window for snacking?
So like I'll eat dinner at like 6:30 ish. No, maybe like 6. And then I'll snack around like 8, 8:30, and then go to bed at like 10:30. That's it.
That's crazy. So I did like how some people do like they'll eat at nighttime and like fast throughout the day. So I like
Yeah.
switched it where like I cut myself off at like 4 or 5, and just not eat at nighttime. Like go to bed with an empty
Oh, wow.
stomach. Yeah, yeah. I'm gaining
Hmm.
weight, man. I'm just fucking. I don't know if I lost or gained, but like I just recently this past like month I've been hitting the gym, like weights. My bench
Yeah,
press
well,
went up,
muscle. Yeah,
huh?
yeah, muscle weighs more than fat. But any like fitness people or anything listening, we obviously need some help. So just message us. Hook us up, man. Teach us some shit.
Yeah. Besides the purist, that Shant's brother is a purist for keto, but just any outside perspective, non-family. Um,
Definitely not family.
so diving into a little bit.
Yeah, what's the topic today, man? Like, tell. Nothing's really going on in the world today. I feel like nothing major. Elon Musk still making Bitcoin go up and down in price. Bitcoin hit an all-time high, 57,000.
What was it,
Bitcoin
50K last week? But then it went down to
57.
49 like today.
it was 57. It went down to 47, and now it's back up to 50. So if you got Bitcoin, this shit is like a roller coaster, man. It's
Insane. Um,
um,
so yeah, what I've been thinking a lot about is how much one can change in a year, but more than just in a year, how much one can change over a course of like 20. Um, Last year, I could never really picture myself as somebody that would really wake up before 8 a.m. I didn't know how
I
people did it.
never, I never ever would have thought, and not because you're just lazy or anything. I mean, we all are kind of lazy, but I just it's a John Etzion gene. But yeah, you are the last person I would be like, yeah, he's gonna get up early,
Yeah, right.
get stuff done.
So, what I wanted to talk about a little bit today was things that I've changed and am currently working on changing about myself, and sort of I wanted to also ping pong this. Maybe we can do the top fives. Let's talk about this, Sean, a little bit as far as what's important or what was important that needed changing all these years. Like, how shitty were you in the past? What was shitty about you? What did you change? And what are you working on changing now? I could literally name off 10 things that I changed or would like to change or am currently changing, but I have got five. And this five took me like 3 minutes. Um, you, on the other hand, you're near perfect. So I don't know exactly what needs changing, but I'm just going to dive right into it. My number five, which I don't even consider that
We're
important
doing this
anymore.
in order or like most important.
No, I'm going in changed down to currently changing.
Okay.
So, number five, I quit smoking. And it's not even just what I actually quit, it's the mental challenge that what I quit basically mentally challenged me, and really got sort of like the rewiring done in my brain to sort of recognize when things seem difficult, what sort of thoughts arise. It was really, really a pivotal time in my mental state, where like it really brought me sort of to my knees, literally, and tested out exactly how strong I was mentally. It has nothing to do with smoking. It has nothing to do with what the actual action is. It's sort of, brain and willpower. Very, very amazing experience, and I'm happy I changed it, because not obviously for the health benefits of not smoking anymore, but just testing yourself out a little bit mentally.
What?
Long-winded, sorry.
Yeah. Did For everyone listening, because I don't even know the answer to it, just so people put in perspective, what was your peak of how much? What is it, pack or cigarettes? I don't know what. I've never. So just disclaimer: I don't know what you're going through because I've never once in my life ever tried a cigarette
Mm.
ever. So I don't even know like the struggle you went through. I could only imagine. So I don't know how to count. Like what was your peak? Like smoking, the number,
I don't know.
amount,
You know
whatever.
what it is, Sean? I used to work a lot, so it was just like, all right, like I would just be smoking when I wasn't working. So I don't know if it was even more than really like a pack or whatever it is, but a pack, for
But,
reference, is 20 cigarettes.
but you do almost a pack a day.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's a
So
lot.
so
Jesus.
put it this way, my experience with it is that not so much the how much I've been smoking, how long I've been smoking. Like I've been smoking since I was 16. Like that habit was ingrained in my
Well, that's why I brought up the number because so from 16 to what are you 30
yeah,
something? I don't know. So and then like let's say 20, like let's say 15 on average a day. That means 15 times like the habit purposes is like you picked up this thing and you're like picked it up 15 times a day, 15 times a day, 15 times a day. It's not like it's once a day where it's easier of a habit to break. It's literally 15 to 20 times a day you're doing this thing.
right.
And for almost 20 years almost or 15 years or so, like that's fucking
It's crazy.
I need to hang on one second. I need to do some math here. What do you say? Average 15 cigarettes a day,
Right.
15 years times 15. You potentially smoked 80,000, 82,000 cigarettes. So that's not an easy fucking habit to, to
So yeah.
like I eat chocolate chip cookies at night. Like that's only like a couple, right? Like I could get rid of that, but 80,000, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God. Did you ever
So
do the numbers? Did you ever think of that?
yeah, no, it's wild. So question for you. So did you stop eating chocolate chip cookies now that you're doing this whole
No, that's my snack. Well, snack, it's something in that variation. So yeah, that's the one of the I have to start doing better on.
So what's on your list of things changed or working on changing?
Well, it's not going to be as fucking cool as that. So let's start there. So one thing I have changed is I'm reading and journaling every day. Started this since this like I've done this in the past where it's like, I'll do it, but now this is literally every day that I'm doing it. I'm trying to carve out time, whether it's the morning, 90% of the time it's the morning. If I don't get to it, it's in the evening time. And I hate reading, right? So it's like I'm really trying to train myself to like enjoy it. Not that I hate reading. I used to hate reading. I just want to now bed in the mornings. We put Leo to bed. He naps, and then she's reading in the living room. I'm in the office here. It's like literally right next to each other, and I'm reading. And it's kind of like our routine now. So that's one thing I've been working on.
Do you
Well, I've been
enjoy
doing.
reading more at nighttime or journaling more at nighttime? Do you feel like everything is a little bit more easy for you to put pen to paper at nighttime?
No, so I'm weird in the sense like I have two, like I have the most energy in the morning usually, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, um, and then at nights, like so reading, like I have the most energy, the most focused. But then subsequently, I like at night just to kind of like get work done, right? So like in the morning is when I'm most clear, basically.
So if you were to journal or read in the morning, do you think that it would be so question for you, like if I journal in the morning, it's really just to kill a few minutes so that my water boils. At nighttime, I feel like it gets in the way of me going to sleep because I got to activate my brain. You know what I mean? So this brings me, this sort of brings me to my next um, thing that I've changed, which I want to bring back to you after I'm done. But this is on my list: is waking up super early and rearranging my whole day. This is something that has completely changed from when I was like, bro, literally last year. It's just insane. My whole day got flipped upside down. So when I tell you, Shant, I find it a little bit strange to now get any sort of work done at nighttime. It's very, very
Mhm.
difficult. So that's why I'm sort of curious to know um, sort of what your mental state is like at night. Like now that you're telling me this, you're telling me that Yeah, you have more energy in the morning, but if you have to, you'll get it done at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will not do anything at night now at all.
Because you're so tired.
I'm just beat at 5:30 in the morning. I'm up until 9:30 at nighttime. 10. There's no chance I'm getting a coherent sentence out.
How do you feel in the mornings?
I feel fantastic.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But it's
So
good though. When I used to get up at 3:58 or whatever, I used to love the night because it's like I'm so dead tired. It's so like it's a great sleep, right? Because you've just accomplished. You feel like you've done so much today, right? 'Cause you got up early, you got a workout in, you did your little journaling, water boiling, coffee, worked all day, did everything, and now you're just like, I get it. You don't want to think. You just want to like, I just want to like go to sleep.
right.
I get it.
So that's my number four is that I've sort of flipped everything that I've been doing so that I wouldn't be activating my brain so much at night and just really shutting it down as soon as I got home. Um, Going back to you, what would you say is something that you're changing?
So one thing I'm trying to work on is to not get distracted by future work to get my current work done, right? So I'm pretty annoying when it comes to this. Betty kind of hates it where it's like I have something to do, but I will like think of like all these other tasks and I'm just like, fuck, like there's so much going on. Rather than like, okay, just get this done, worry about this, and then figure out the rest later.
Do you think do you think that you have to get something done perfectly in order for to be able to actually do it?
It depends. It depends what it is. If it's with clients, yes. I'm
Will
very
you
anal.
avoid doing it because you think that you won't be able to get it done in the way that you actually want to?
Yeah,
Do you think that that also causes you to now think of other shit you might be able to get done?
yeah, yeah. It's a fucking yeah. It's a what is it? A spiral out of control when that happens. But I'm trying to get. I've been better at like just focusing on this. I'm gonna tackle this. All this is happening. It's okay. Let's just worry about this right now.
So, are you saying basically that you're now trying to change that you are you sort of have like a perfectionist way of looking
Yeah,
at tasks? Like you're just trying to just
yeah,
get the task actually done as opposed to, having it done perfectly?
yeah.
Since when have you been such a fucking perfectionist? Was this like a
It's for certain. It's for certain things. It's weird. For some things, I don't care.
has it have you always been like this? Like you've always had a list or a couple different things where you've been a perfectionist at, but then
Yeah,
other things you can give a fuck less, like you don't care.
yeah. It's weird. I'm super intense in some things, and then some things I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Um, yeah, it's a weird. There's no rhyme or reason if it comes to like appointments, scheduling. It's like, oh, it's got to be fucking perfect. Like we have to worry about this. And it's just go on to your next one.
I'm I had no idea that this is like a thing for you. I didn't like I know that maybe personally, yeah, but I didn't know that shit got like this for you for work. Like me also, like when I think of YouTube, I think of like, oh, like I need to do that video, but like that one needs to be perfect. So like, all right, maybe I'll just put it on the list of like videos I'll do, but I never get around to it because it's not perfect. Anyway, I know exactly what you're talking about. It bothers me sometimes not being able to do something if it's not quote unquote perfect. Like it took me like months to redo my website because well, this template sucks and I don't know which colors to use. And it's just like you work yourself up for nothing. Anyway, so sort of going hand in hand with where and where I've been mentally lately is trying to understand people better in conversation. I've been trying. But my problem is that I'm always trying to relate, not on purpose, but lately I've been trying to just shut up and just listen. And it really, you don't realize sort of what you're doing until you realize just exactly how fucking bored the person you're talking to gets. When all you keep doing is just, yeah, me too. And like, yeah. So I've been trying to just shut the fuck up and just listen and ask questions.
Yeah, like I've heard Patrick Bet David talk about this, where he's like I love like I love hearing people's stories, and like, and I never thought of it that way until, like, you're mentioning it right now. It's like, usually have small talk with people, and just, it's like stupid conversations, right? But he tries to have deep conversations and tries to like learn about you, right? So when you said that, it kind of sparked me. I'm like, I've been trying to like get a little bit of that, right? Where it's like, I want to learn about you a little bit. What are you about? But then I always feel like no one ever wants to know about you.
But the thing is though, Sean, you're a lot better at this than I am. You've always been the type of person that'll just continue asking questions, or like particular details will pique your interest. And I feel like a lot of people, when you question them, or sort of not question them, but ask them questions, want to be around you more. And subconsciously, you develop a friendship with them because of the amount of questions that you ask them. I feel like the more and more
Mm-hmm.
you talk about yourself to somebody that likes to talk about themselves, they don't want to be around them. They
Yeah.
want you to continue digging. So I guess it's really just whatever the purpose of you asking that person questions is. But the I noticed the thing about you is that you'll ask a hobo questions. It doesn't matter who the person is. It's just, if,
Yeah, like
if it interests you,
the
you're gonna ask.
cigarette thing. I could have went on an hour just trying to figure out the whole you quitting smoking, and just go deep into that, because it's just so interesting to me. Like, I would have went, the whole episode would have been how to quit smoking cigarettes.
Oh, if anybody needs help, I would love to. It's fucked. It's a wild ride. Remember I was telling you about David Goggins?
Yeah, that kind of helped, no?
It's the reason why I quit.
Wow.
He's fucked, man. He is fucked up in the head. He described what your brain does to you when it really, really wants you to go back to whatever it knows because it's uncomfortable. It's just intense, man. I wish I
Yeah.
could re-experience that.
Well, just find something else to quit.
I don't have anything else. I quit. I quit that. I quit drinking soda.
Oh, that's big too.
What else did I quit?
Should
I
I,
don't even know,
should I
man.
count how many sodas you've drank in your whole life?
Stop it. So yeah,
All right, next.
back to you.
Yeah. So next is, I because Betty, my wife, read a book, The Power of Now, and she's explained a lot of the concepts to me, and we've been trying to really hone that in. It's not perfect, of course, but living in the present, right? When you're doing something, just be in it, right? Like Sunday, we took Leo to his swimming classes. He's a swimmer now. Leo
Ooh,
Shark.
Mr. Leo. Wow.
Yeah. Did I send you any videos? I got to send you some videos.
Yeah, no, please. I'd love to see his backstroke.
By the way, the kid is literally just like me. So and I'll get into my point, but it's a funny story. So you know how I get kind of like locked into something, like so many things could be happening. I'm just like focused on one thing. I could be somewhere and I'm just staring at one thing the whole time. So he's in the class, there's other kids, and there's the swimming things. Like I hold him and swim with him, and the instructor is speaking the whole time. He literally does not take his eyes off the instructor the whole time. He's literally, I'm like spinning him around, and he's like, just for half an hour straight. It's just literally locked in. I'll send you some videos. It's funny. All right.
Yeah.
So why I was talking about that was, just being there, right? Like not worrying about work, not worrying about, oh my God, I got a lead, I got a client. It's just be there, enjoy it, living in the present.
Have you started listening to or listened to The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle?
No, Betty read it. That's how we've been.
She like read it?
Yeah, read it. She's already like 4 books in this month, man. She's fucking smoking. Smoking.
She's fucking killing it, man. It's a good one. That one is a really, really good one. Huh?
You listened to it.
Twice.
You listened to it.
Twice.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a good one. You should pick it up if you want to dig in a little bit further. I would even recommend, I know I only listen, but that one in particular has a really, really good audiobook component because the guy's accent is just fucking phenomenal. Number one. Number two, really? Yeah, they do a lot of like audio tricks to like mess with your mind. Like a lot of like bells and like very, very weird audio. You feel like you're in like a trance. It really does open you up a little bit mentally. But so what was it exactly? You've been trying to live in the present more? You've been trying to... You have an anxiety, big guy? What's going on?
No, I just, my mind is always racing, thinking about 10 other things and, just worrying about like 5 steps ahead, this, that. So I'm just like, you know what? Whatever's happening, trying to live it now. Not perfect at it, but
is it not kind of fucked up that you're trying to live in the present, yet at the same time we appreciate being 5 steps ahead? Patrick Bet David.
Love it.
So like when, how, what, where, why are we doing that? When are we living in the present? When are we living 5 steps ahead? What's going on with that?
So I think what like the book says, like I think it's take time, like quiet time, different time, plan your 5 steps, right? But when you're living day to day, don't think, because my thing was like I'm always thinking 5 steps ahead. Whether it's okay, we're about to go somewhere right now. Okay, well, we're not going to eat for another 8 hours, so maybe I should eat right now, and now my whole mind is focused on eating, right?
I remember you used to do stupid shit like that.
Yeah. Like, oh, we gotta, now it's like, all right, whatever, man. Like if I get hungry later, we'll figure it out,
It's fucking
but I used to be annoying, right? I used to be so annoying.
Yeah.
So I now try to take time, quiet time, to plan the 5 steps, 5 moves or whatever it is. And every other time, just live in the present to not annoy Ari.
Yeah, man, you did some fucking weird shit, man. Yeah, we got to leave at 45 minutes beforehand because you're probably going to circle the block 3 or 4 times. You're not going to find parking. Like, how do you fucking know?
That's how I was good at logistics, man.
You're insane,
dude. So when I was a dispatcher and stuff in New York City, like my drivers, they would deliver emergency blood, and it would be like they'd be like, oh, like I got this place. It's like half an hour. I got time. It's half an hour. I'll be there in half. I'm like, no. Like, you're gonna get there. You're gonna get there in like 27 minutes. But I know the parking structure. You're gonna be driving around. you're not going to find that there's two spots usually. Those two spots right now are going to be taken. So you're going to park. So I'm like, you need at least 40 to 50 minutes. So you got to leave now. And they'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
So, funny
Yeah.
thing is that my next one on this list is it has thinking a few steps ahead on it. And I've been developing a system of thinking a few steps ahead and manifesting the outcome, as in playing out the situation in my head in a positive light to to play out the outcome so that it's a lot easier for me to realize the outcome. So, particular situations where if I know I'm going to walk into a conversation, how that conversation is going to go, play it out, and then actualize it. I think where, coming back to what you're saying, is I think where the problem lives in not being in the present is thinking about various alternative outcomes as opposed to the one that you actually want.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference between the psychopath and the sane person is the psychopath is thinking of various different outcomes that result in some sort of catastrophe versus the sane person thinking about the most logical possible outcome and thinking about the steps involved in that happening. As in getting in my car, driving about 65 miles an hour with my seatbelt on, getting to work on time, safe and sound, versus the psychopath driving to work, get rear-ended by a fucking 18-wheeler. You know what I mean? Just fucked up shit that separates you. So I've been thinking like that lately, is just really just visualizing the whole thing in a very, very positive, non-catastrophical. I don't know if that was like last week. What was the word?
So that's kind of my fourth or second one as well. I'm going to switch it up a little bit and use that because Betty's been harping on this with me where I always look and I justify this. I always look when we're doing something for the negative outcome. So like doing our flip, and I think of the negatives,
Which
right?
is
Like, okay, this
normal,
is like the negative outcomes, but I'm like, you got to be prepped for it,
right?
right? You got to be prepped for it if things do go wrong. But she says, have a little bit more positive, like think of the good outcomes that could come. Like focus more on those than you should always be prepared, I think, of bad outcomes and know what's a possibility, but don't. What I do is I focus too much on that rather than focusing too much on the positive outcomes. So it's similar to yours.
So why do you focus a lot about the negative outcomes? Are you doing it more to mentally prepare or to be ready for the possibility?
So being ready for the possibility and so you can maneuver quick, right? So you're not but what Betty always says, which makes sense, she's like, if something a bad outcome does come, like you'll handle it. You'll think it through and you'll handle it. Don't focus too much on it when it's like things are, when you're working through things and focus only on the negative outcomes. If a negative outcome happens, you'll figure it out. You'll work through it.
So knowing
She's
that
like
Betty
my life coach.
Betty might not listen to this podcast episode, what are your real thoughts on what she said? Do you agree, or do you find that thinking about the negative outcomes better equips you for when they do arise? As in, when you don't think about them, but you realize that they're a possibility. Do you think that thinking about them makes your response better if it does happen? Or do you think that it gets in the way of handling a positive response? Like, do you think that thinking about the negative outcome fucks you up, fucks your performance up?
So what I think is a good, I think negative outcome, I think you have to be prepared for it, right? But I think it's the percentages, right? What percentage are you focusing on that? I think, like what Betty says, yes, you should know an outcome and be prepared. But I think if I spend 10 to 15% of my time, like of a project, thinking of a negative outcome and being prepared for it is fine, like 10%. But if it's taking 20, 30, 40, 50% of my mental capacity of like, hey, what about the negatives? Now you're just like asking for it, right? So I think you have to know all negative possibilities and have a plan for it, but not spend too much time on it. If that makes sense.
No, it definitely makes sense. I can give you a good example of sort of me at the store. Sometimes on like a busy Friday, there's all sorts of possible outcomes. What if this person calls out sick today? What if we get
Mm-hmm.
bombarded from like 5 to 7? What if, our delivery driver gets a
Yeah.
flat tire? There's all sorts of negative outcomes, but you focus too much on it and it starts to get in the way of like live orders. Like,
Yeah.
bro, take care of the shit that's on the grill, get that
So how
order
do you handle
going.
it? Do you think about like, or do you just, are you more of like, hey, right now, if something happens, I'm experienced enough to I'll be able to handle it.
Yeah. I mean, put it this way, you get to a point where you start to know what you know. Like before, you don't know what you don't know. After a while,
Mm-hmm.
you start to you start to be okay with the fact that some shit might happen that you haven't actually dealt with yet, because you know that it'll probably all work out. So I've come to terms with the fact that most every single problem that we've ever dealt with at the store is easily resolvable, even in the case of like a major accident, God forbid.
And in real time, you'll just be able in real time, just
Yeah. But so many people focus on, I shouldn't say so many people. I used to focus exactly shit that,
pointing at myself.
right, that even if it did happen, you could easily resolve it, but you're too busy worrying about the fact that it could possibly happen, making the situation or the event not perfect. Like,
Yeah.
you're worried about the possibility that this might not go perfectly. Who
I'm
gives a
sure. I'm
fuck
sure.
is what I'm saying. Like,
I'm sure at during when we were getting married, I was probably so fucking annoying.
so it's really like, it's like, dude, like, but then it comes to a point where, which is leading me to my last thing, where even if you think, okay, all right, even if it doesn't go perfectly, even if you're not going to make everybody happy, still try to take on, work, try to bite off more than you can chew. And that's where things sort of switched up for me. I used to need to take every single job. I used to need to tell people yes. And all right, I'm very busy, but you know what? We'll do it. I've gotten into a habit of just, if my tank is full, I ain't taking anymore. If my
Mm-hmm.
plate is full, I ain't taking anymore. And no matter how upset or like disappointed the person may get, fuck it, because that's what's gonna make me uncomfortable. It's gonna make me just not be able to perform. It's gonna make me burn out. And that's what I've been doing lately, is really just not doing shit that makes me feel like not wanting to do it.
That's a hard um, that's a hard thing. What made you get to that point?
Because I was constantly taking on conversations and tasks that involved a lot of uncertainty as to whether or not I'd even be able to deliver the result. And a lot of the things that you do in this business, in this like car negotiation business, involves a lot of uncertainty. And when you mix in a lot of stress that you don't actually have control over, like it's always a battle, it gets in the way of doing what I do, which is
Yeah.
running a restaurant that produces things like actual things, not just numbers and stuff like that. It gets in the way of personal relationships because I'm constantly
Hmm.
stressed out. And like put it this way, it gets in the way of my creative flow. I can't make a YouTube video if I'm constantly fucking thinking about some annoying bullshit that I got to deal with on a like a deal that I'm trying to get done. So that's why I sort of cut that part out altogether,
Good.
at least for the time being.
That's a hard thing to do, man. Trust me. I get it. It's definitely not easy. So my last one is a little bit different. I'm trying to pull it up. So having, I've been doing a lot of self-development on finances and wealthy people and stuff like that. And one thing I've been really working on is having a higher financial threshold, right? Where, you know, when we were 20 years old, buying a $20 shirt, let's say, was kind of expensive, right? Like 25, $50, $30. You're like, shit, that's expensive shirt. When you're 25, then it's like $100 shirt because you're going out more. Then it's at 30, it's not a big deal. And I'm not saying I buy $100 shirts. I don't. But as you evolve, you want to up your threshold, right? So there was a Ed Milet. Have you heard of Ed Milet, right?
No.
Ed Milet. Okay, you need to listen to him. So he talks about his financial thermometer, right? So you have a thermometer in your house. It's set at 70 degrees. So if it gets colder than 70, it lifts the temperature to 70. If it goes over 70, it cools down to get back to 70. And in our life, our financial, we have a thermometer that we live by. It's engraved in our heads from just growing up. So if we make a little too much money, thermometer brings us back down. If we're making a little like less money than usual, our thermometer brings it back up. And whatever that thermometer is stuck on is kind of where we're at. So I'm trying to get that thermometer level up, right? And a couple of ways is that I've been kind of learning is we're very quick to say like, oh, that's too expensive. Whatever it is, it could be an investment, right? It could be you have a camera, right, that you want to buy. Like, what's a really expensive camera?
The Sony A7S III. Why?
Okay,
My
how much is
birthday already
that?
passed.
How much is that? Like rough, just give me a rough
Three
number.
grand.
Okay, so if you have a $1,000 camera, you're like, oh, that Sony's too expensive. That's your first instinct. It's too expensive. Instead of saying it's too expensive, like, how can I afford that? Or what can I do to get that?
Rich dad,
Does
poor
that
dad.
does that yeah. Yeah. So does that make sense?
100%. So
The thermometer?
right, right. So what are you trying to do exactly? Are you trying to establish flexibility? Are you trying to be able to set I don't put it this way, how the thermometer relates to you. What are you trying to do with the thermometer? Are you trying to set it at a much higher temperature?
Yes. That's kind of my thing that I've been working on, right? Because so Betty, right? She's like, I want to go on vacation. I want to go on vacation. I'm like, yeah, let's go. And she likes looking at cool stuff. And like she was showing me first class for uh Emirates, right? and she's just showing it like on YouTube. We were watching it.
Casey
Someone vlogged
Neistat.
it. I don't know who it was, but and my first instinct was like, "Oh, it's too expensive." You know, like why are we watching this? Like, what's
Jesus Christ.
like what's going on here? Like show me, coach. Like how does coach look? But then I'm like, no, wait, that's okay. Let's watch it, and we'll get our thermometer to that level where it's not that expensive. So it's not like, oh my god, that's so expensive. It's like, oh, how can we get to that point where a $4,000 flight each or 5,000? I don't know how much it is, but where it's you could just keep inching and inching higher, right? Like when me and Betty first started going out together, we went to the Dominican Republic. We stayed at a resort. Terrible, shit, disgusting, terrible. Our next vacation was better. We went to Cancun. Then we went to Italy. And then Italy the next time was better. And then we went to Hawaii, and Hawaii was sick. So we always try to raise our thermometer. That's kind of the thing that we've been trying to do. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. So I guess the question is when does that thermometer actually stop?
Hopefully never. Like that's the thing. Like it's why put a limit?
Do you always is the thermometer just capable of reaching that threshold, or are you trying to say that like anything you do now, like if you're buying like a flip, it can't be less than like 10 million, 5 million, 1 million? Like, is it just everything you do now? You just want to be able
Yeah.
to,
Just
but
go a
you'll
little
still
bit.
buy like a 500K, but you just know that like you could get 10 million. You just want to be able, you just want to be financially flexible, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I'm gonna send you some. I'm gonna send you that thermometer. I gotta think about when he spoke about that. But
Yeah, send me this Google Nest device that you're talking about. I'd love to see it. Wonder if there's any rebates for this thing. Well, I think that it's very, very important to constantly realize that you're not perfect. You're not a fucking celebrity. Maybe you need some changing, even though you might have just changed. Like, oh, you quit smoking, great, but maybe you should be working on your skin or your teeth.
the thing it's your thermometer thermostat. That's what it's thermostat. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just getting now. It's like you accomplish quitting smoking. Now it's like not that you need to
Yeah,
quit something, but like what else can you level up
raise it
in?
up. I get you.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. It's not just finances. It's just,
No, it's
you're capable of quitting drinking soda. What can you quit next? You ran a mile in 10 minutes. Can you run it in 8?
yeah.
I see what you're doing there. You're trying to raise the thermometer. So your thermometer right now is focused more on financials.
Yeah, right now, but it'll change. Obviously, you know, um, one day it'll get to the chocolate chip cookies, right? It's gonna take some time.
Oh man, I'm very, very far away from having any chocolate chip cookies right now, unfortunately.
So you can't eat right now. That's it. Like you're done.
I can do whatever I want. I just choose not to because
I
if
like
I
that.
breathe too hard right now, I'll gain weight. So, well, it's been a great episode, Sean. I just want to remind everybody it's episode number 75 of the Shant and Ari podcast. Please rate and review if you haven't already. We thank you.
Yeah, and tell us what you give us a 5-star, and then behind closed doors, tell us what you really think.
Give us whatever the 1-star review is that you were planning to write. Write it after you hit the 5-star button below.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Adi, I want you to think of this one for the next episode, real quick. Next episode, I want you to tell me what was just thinking back, going back, what was your favorite topic we've hit on this whole 75 episodes? Think about that
I will.
for next week.
Favorite topic so far. Got it. Good night, Shant.
Good night, everyone.